True or false? Migration flows are unpredictable. Well, you guessed it. That is false as well. Migration flows are often predictable based on economic, social, and political context. Hello, and welcome back to News in 5. Today's question, are migration flow truly unpredictable? Let's dive into the data and find out. Contrary to popular belief, migration flow can often be anticipated based on various factors. Here's a look at some examples. Venezuela migration. Venezuela has been experiencing a profound economic and political crisis since the mid-2010s, marked by hyperinflation, severe shortages of basic goods, widespread unemployment, and political instability. The situation has deteriorated to the point where millions of Venezuelans have been forced to leave their country in search of safety and better living conditions. The crisis has resulted in a massive migration wave to the neighboring countries, especially Colombia and Brazil. As of 2023, it is estimated that over 7 million Venezuelans have fled their country, with the majority seeking refuge in Colombia, which has received the largest number of Venezuelan migrants, and Brazil, which also hosts significant numbers. The migration flow was anticipated due to the severity of Venezuela's internal problems. Historical and contemporary evidence suggests that severe economic and political instability often leads to large-scale migration. The high number of Venezuelans fleeing their country reflects a classic example of how national instability directly impacts migration patterns. Humanitarian agencies and governments have predicted these movements based on the observable decline in living conditions and governance failures. Countries like Colombia have faced substantial challenges in accommodating and integrating Venezuelan migrants, including pressures on social services, healthcare, and educational system. Despite these challenges, there have been efforts to support and integrate the migrants, such as temporary protected status and humanitarian aid. But as you can see, Venezuelans primarily immigrated to neighboring countries, meaning the West was not flooded with refugees despite common belief. Another example, the Syrian refugees, impacted by the Syrian civil war. The Syrian war, which began in 2011, created one of the most significant humanitarian crises of the 21st century. The conflict, marked by extreme violence, bombing, and breakdown of civil order, led to widespread displacement of civilians. The war triggered a substantial refugee crisis, with millions of Syrians fleeing to neighboring countries such as Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan, as well as Europe. By 2016, the European Union faced an unprecedented influx of refugees from Syria, with many seeking asylum in Germany, Sweden, and other Western European countries. The migration flow was predictable due to the escalating violence and widespread displacement caused by the war. Historical pattern shows that large-scale conflicts and humanitarian crises typically result in significant refugee movements. The international community anticipated the surge in migration as a consequence of an ongoing conflict and deteriorating living conditions in Syria. European countries, particularly those in UE, experienced a significant strain on their asylum system and social infrastructure due to the high number of incoming refugees. Despite the challenges, the response included various measures such as relocation program, integration efforts, and financial assistance to support both the refugee and the host communities. The enlargement of the European Union, particularly the accession of Eastern European countries in 2004 and 2007, marked a significant shift in the geopolitical landscape of Europe. The inclusion of countries such as Poland, Hungary, and Czech Republic opened new opportunities for movement within the UE. Following the UE enlargement, there was a notable migration trend from Eastern European countries to Western Europe. Many individuals from countries with lower income levels sought better economic opportunities in wealthier UE member states, such as Germany, the United Kingdom, and the Netherlands. This movement was driven by the search for higher wages, better job prospects, and improved living standards. The migration from Eastern to Western Europe was anticipated due to the disparities in economic conditions between the new and old UE member states. Economic theories and historical precedents suggest that people will migrate from lower income to higher income regions within a free movement area like EU. The increase in migration from Eastern to Western Europe was a foreseeable outcome of the economic opportunities created by EU membership and accompanied freedom of movement. Western European countries experienced increased labor market competition and demographic changes due to the influx of migrants from Eastern Europe. While this migration brought economic benefits such as filling labor shortages and contribute to growth, it also necessitated adjustments in policies and infrastructure to accommodate the new arrivals. The key takeaway is that these examples demonstrate a clear cause and effect relationship. Policymakers must thoroughly review and understand the potential consequences of their policy decisions. Changes in policies can directly impact immigration trends, and when these impacts occur, policymakers should not be caught off guard. They need to anticipate these effects and prepare accordingly, rather than expressing surprise when predictable outcomes arise. These expanded explanations provide a deeper understanding of the migration trends, their predictability, and the impacts on both the migrant and the host countries. If we know this, then we can better manage and predict migration flows. Here are some things politicians or policymakers can keep in mind. Data-driven migration management. Utilize comprehensive data to predict migration trends and allocate resources efficiently. Conflict prevention and resolution. Invest in conflict prevention and resolutions to reduce focused migration and stabilize regions. Support for regional development. Provide economic and social support to regions with high migration pressures to address root causes and manage migration effectively. Migration flows can indeed be predictable by understanding the underlying factors. Also, keep in mind that migration is not transcontinental, that most migration happens to neighboring countries. Thanks again for tuning in. This is News at 5. My name is Shabnam Akrami. Until next time.